Listen carefully. The world is not built on fairness. It is built on power. It is built on perception. It is built on control. If you cling to the illusion that people will respect you simply for being good, you will remain a pawn on someone else's board. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Men are not loyal, they are useful. They do not follow ideals, they follow strength. When you internalize this, you stop expecting honesty, justice, or morality from others. You start seeing the game for what it truly is. And once you see the game, you gain the ability to play it. Dark psychology gives you the tools. It reveals the impulses people try to hide: fear, greed, lust, envy, insecurity. They can't control them, but you can exploit them. Power comes not from shouting, but from silence, not from kindness, but from leverage. This channel, Mental Fort, exists to strip away the lies you've been fed, to build the fortress within your mind. A fortress no betrayal, no manipulation, no storm can break. If you're ready, comment below, "I am the fortress." Let those words be your initiation. 2. Control of perception. Understand this. Reality is shaped less by truth and more by perception. It doesn't matter what you are. What matters is what people believe you are. That is the cornerstone of Machiavellian power. You could be strong, wise, disciplined, but if others don't perceive it, then it doesn't exist to them. On the battlefield of life, appearances are more lethal than facts. A lion may be powerful, but if it looks weak, the jackals will circle. So you must master not just your reality, but the image you project. Dark psychology teaches us this truth. People judge instantly, unconsciously, and permanently. They will label you in seconds and rarely question their decision. If you appear hesitant, they will brand you weak. If you radiate composure, they will assume strength. Therefore, your control over perception is control over power itself. Never forget, silence can be louder than words. Stillness can be stronger than action. A steady gaze can dominate a room more than shouting ever could. Men who waste their lives trying to prove themselves are always beneath the man who understands the art of controlled perception. This is your advantage. Build it, shape it, use it. And remember, once people believe you are untouchable, they treat you as untouchable. Comment below. Power is perception. Lock it in your mind. Write it in your soul. 3. The weaponization of fear. Power is not sustained by love. Love is fickle, fragile, and conditional. One day, they admire you. The next, they betray you. But fear endures. Fear binds deeper than affection because it touches the primal instincts that drive human behavior. Machiavelli himself warned, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Why? Because fear commands respect when love falters. Dark psychology reveals the truth. Humans are ruled by their subconscious fears. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of pain, fear of insignificance. Entire lives are dictated by these shadows. Once you learn to recognize them in others, you hold the keys to their actions. You don't need to chain them, they chain themselves. But understand this, fear is not about brutality. It is about presence. You do not need to shout threats. You do not need to show violence. Fear can be woven into the silence you command, the aura you project, the boundaries you enforce without compromise. When people know you will not tolerate disrespect, they fear crossing you without you ever raising your voice. The untouchable man does not run from fear. He studies it, he bends it, he weaponizes it. The weak are afraid of being disliked, abandoned, or opposed. The strong embrace the reality that not everyone will love them. The fortress-minded man knows fear is leverage, and leverage is power. Never fear being feared, fear being forgotten. Now, I want you to comment below, "My presence commands respect." Let the world know you are no longer asking for approval. You are demanding recognition through sheer force of will. Anchor those words. This is how you transform yourself from ordinary to untouchable. 4. Mastery of emotion. The greatest war you will ever fight is not against others, it is against yourself. And the battlefield is your emotions. Rage, jealousy, fear, lust, sentimentality. These are the chains that enslave men. These are the weaknesses exploited by manipulators, politicians, lovers, even so-called friends. Machiavelli knew that the man who cannot master himself will always be mastered by others. Dark psychology confirms it. People are easy to control because they are slaves to their own impulses. They react, they overthink, they lash out, they beg for validation, they crumble under pressure, and every time they do, they give their power away. The untouchable man is different. He feels emotion, but he does not bow to it. He uses it as fuel, not as a leash. He does not rage blindly. He channels anger into strategy. He does not drown in sadness. He converts it into discipline. He does not become intoxicated by desire. He calculates whether fulfilling it serves his empire or sabotages it. The crowd is emotional. The king is measured. That is why kings rule. When you master your emotions, people begin to fear you, not because you are cruel, but because you are unshakable. They cannot predict you. They cannot provoke you. They cannot read you. That mystery becomes power. The more calm you remain in chaos, the more dangerous you appear. When others are screaming and you are silent, they will feel small. When they panic and you remain still, they will believe you know something they don't. And that perception alone gives you the upper hand. You must become the fortress, impenetrable. Let storms rage outside your walls. Let betrayals unfold. Let insults be thrown. You will remain unmoved. That is true power. Not control over others, but control over yourself. Because once you control yourself, controlling others becomes effortless. This is where most men fail. They want power, but they have no discipline. They want influence, but they are addicted to instant gratification. They want respect, but they fold when emotions rise. Do not be that man. Be the exception. Be the one who stands calm when all others collapse. Comment below, "I am unmoved." Engrave it into your mind. Write it into your soul. Speak it until it becomes your reality. 5. Strategic manipulation. Power is not seized by chance, it is engineered. And the most precise tool of power is not brute strength, but manipulation. You must understand this. Manipulation is not always deception. It is influence. It is the art of bending reality so others act in alignment with your will, while believing they act in alignment with theirs. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must learn to be both the lion and the fox. The lion intimidates, but the fox deceives. The lion forces, but the fox persuades. To be untouchable, you must master both. And yet, the fox always outlives the lion. Why? Because raw strength exhausts itself. Strategy never does. Dark psychology exposes the cracks in the human mind. People crave validation. They seek approval. They want to feel chosen, admired, seen. Most are terrified of being ignored. This is leverage. Withhold your attention, and they will chase you. Give your attention sparingly, and they will cling to every word. Manipulation is not about shouting commands. It is about creating silent dependence. Consider this. The strongest chains are invisible. If a person believes they need you, they will submit willingly. If they believe you are the source of their recognition, their opportunity, or their survival, they will betray themselves to stay in your favor. You don't even need to push them. They will walk into the cage on their own. Here lies the Machiavellian truth. People want to be led. They want to be guided. They want someone to take the burden of decision-making from their weak shoulders. Most people are paralyzed by uncertainty. The man who moves with clarity becomes their anchor. Lead decisively, even falsely, and they will follow you over the cliff, thanking you as they fall. But remember, manipulation is not reckless trickery. It is precise calculation. Never manipulate for sport. Manipulate for gain, for position, for leverage. Every move must serve the fortress you are building. Every lie must serve a larger truth, your dominance. Waste manipulation, and you expose yourself. Wield it with discipline, and you become untouchable. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. You can give, but only when giving strengthens your power. You can help, but only when helping places others in your debt. Every gesture should create a ripple of obligation. Every word should sharpen your aura. This is how kings are made, not through empty charity, but through strategic generosity that binds others silently to your cause. And understand this: people rarely resist the manipulator who tells them what they want to hear. Feed their vanity, stroke their ego, make them feel chosen, superior, destined. They will never notice the chains tightening around their neck. This is not cruelty, it is reality. If you refuse to manipulate, you will be manipulated. If you refuse to influence, you will be influenced. The game does not allow spectators. You play, or you are played. So ask yourself, will you remain the pawn, guided by the hands of stronger men? Or will you become the strategist, whose invisible moves decide the fate of everyone else at the table? This is mental fort. Here, you are not taught how to survive. You are taught how to dominate. Now comment below, I bend the game to my will. Declare it. Stamp it into your identity. This is the path. Walk it without hesitation. 6. Building an aura of untouchability. Power is not always about what you do. It is about what people believe you are capable of doing. The most dangerous men in history were not always the strongest, but the most untouchable in presence. They cultivated an aura, an atmosphere so thick with control, composure, and silent power that others submitted before conflict ever began. Understand this: people are constantly scanning for signals. They look at your body language, your tone, your silence, your reactions, and they judge quickly. They sense weakness faster than sharks sense blood in water. If your energy leaks insecurity, they will circle. If your aura radiates cold dominance, they will retreat before testing you. Machiavelli emphasized this principle: a ruler must be seen as unyielding. Even when weak, appear strong. Even when uncertain, appear decisive. The illusion of power becomes power. The perception of invulnerability creates real invulnerability. This is how kings survived assassination attempts, how generals led armies with inferior numbers, how leaders held empires together through fear and respect. Dark psychology reinforces it. Humans are wired to follow confidence, even if it is fabricated. They mistake composure for certainty, certainty for truth, and truth for superiority. If you master this, you don't need to fight most battles. People defeat themselves before they even challenge you. So how do you build this aura of untouchability? First, discipline your body. Posture is not decoration. It is silent dominance. Shoulders squared, chin slightly raised, movements controlled. You never fidget, never twitch, never rush. Every action is deliberate, every step measured. This communicates that you are in control of yourself and therefore of the room. Second, weaponize silence. Weak men fill the air with words, hoping to prove themselves. Powerful men speak rarely, but when they do, every syllable cuts like steel. When you are silent, people project power onto you. They wonder what you're thinking. They imagine depth, calculation, danger. Your silence forces them into discomfort, and discomfort gives you control. Third, control your reactions. The untouchable man is unshaken by praise or insult. Compliments do not inflate him. Disrespect does not enrage him. He remains steady, calm, cold. This terrifies people because they cannot predict you. And when they cannot predict you, they fear you. That fear becomes your shield. Fourth, cultivate mystery. Reveal little. The more people know, the more they can use against you. Speak less about your plans, your emotions, your intentions. Share only what strengthens your image. A mysterious man is always larger than life because the imagination of others will exaggerate his power. Let them. Their fantasies will build your myth stronger than reality ever could. Fifth, detach from neediness. The aura of untouchability collapses the moment you appear desperate for approval, attention, or validation. Need is weakness. Indifference is strength. When people know you don't need them, they instinctively feel they need you. That imbalance of desire cements your position above them. Sixth, embody composure in chaos. When others panic, you stay calm. When others scream, you whisper. When others collapse, you stand tall. This is not theatrics. It is psychological warfare. The man who does not break under pressure appears almost godlike to those who do. That perception alone makes you untouchable. Finally, live with standards. Lines that cannot be crossed. Boundaries enforced without hesitation. Respect is not begged, it is commanded. If someone disrespects you, correct them immediately, not with rage, but with unwavering firmness. The aura of untouchability is maintained not through endless battles, but through decisive enforcement of principle. Remember, aura is not arrogance. Aura is presence. Arrogance is loud insecurity. Presence is silent power. The more you embody presence, the more you shift the energy of every room you enter. People will feel it without knowing why. That is true power, when others sense your dominance before you even speak. You are not building a facade, you are building a fortress around your identity, one that no insult, no betrayal, no failure can penetrate. When you walk into a room, they must know, this man cannot be touched. Now, comment below, my aura is my armor. Write it, claim it, breathe it into existence. This is mental fort, and your fortress is almost complete. 7. Ruthless strategy. A fortress is not built with kindness, it is built with calculation. If you want to rise above the masses, you cannot move blindly. You cannot stumble forward, hoping strength alone will carry you. Power belongs to those who think 5 moves ahead, to those who sharpen strategy until it becomes instinct. Machiavelli declared, men who rely on luck are devoured by it. Only the strategist survives storms, betrayals, shifting loyalties. The ruthless strategist does not depend on chance. He engineers outcomes. Every word, every silence, every alliance, every betrayal, chosen with precision. Understand this. Most men are impulsive. They react. They chase quick pleasures, easy wins, shallow validation. They make enemies they didn't need to. They burn bridges without strategy. This is why they remain small, forgotten, broken. You cannot afford such carelessness. Your life must be treated as a chessboard, not a dice game. Ruthless strategy means clarity. Who are your allies? Who are your threats? Who can be manipulated, used, or discarded? And most importantly, who must never see your full hand? Never reveal all your strength, never show all your weapons. A strategist wins, not by fighting every battle, but by ensuring most battles never begin. You must learn to wait. Patience is the hidden blade of power. Impulsive men strike too early and bleed themselves dry. The strategist observes, watches, measures. He strikes only when the moment is perfect, when the outcome is already decided before the blade falls. That is ruthlessness, not endless violence, but perfect timing. Dark psychology teaches us this. People are patterns. They repeat mistakes. They reveal themselves in their habits, their weaknesses, their hungers. Watch them long enough, and you will know their next move before they make it. And when you know, you control them. Strategy is not guessing, it is predicting, and prediction is control. But ruthlessness means sacrifice. To secure victory, you must be willing to cut ties, burn pawns, and walk away from attachments that weaken your position. The fortress is not built for comfort, it is built for survival. Do not hesitate to let go of what drags you down. Every distraction, every parasite, every liability must be removed without hesitation. Mercy has its place, but never at the cost of your throne. Remember this. Power is not about fighting every war. It is about choosing the wars that matter and ensuring you cannot lose them. Most men scatter their energy across endless battles, proving nothing, gaining nothing. The strategist consolidates. he channels his energy toward decisive victories. One victory with ruthless precision outweighs 100 reckless struggles. And you must accept this truth. People will hate you for being strategic. They will call you cold, manipulative, ruthless. Good. Let them. Their resentment is proof of your superiority. The fortress-minded man does not live for applause. He lives for results. If they hate you, but they cannot touch you, you win. In life, you will be faced with choices: sentiment or survival, comfort or control, illusion or reality. The weak choose sentiment and drown in it. The strong choose survival and ascend. Be clear, you do not need to be cruel for cruelty's sake. That is childish. Ruthlessness is not sadism. It is discipline. It is the ability to cut away what must be cut, no matter how much it hurts. That is true power. Every move you make must strengthen the fortress. Every step must lead you closer to untouchability. And if a step does not serve that purpose, do not take it. Ruthless strategy means no wasted motion, no wasted words, no wasted alliances. Precision only. Now, I want you to comment below. I choose strategy over impulse. Write it as a declaration. Let it become your creed. The pawn reacts. The king strategizes. Which will you be? 8. Cold detachment. Attachment is the chain that drags men to their downfall. Families, friends, lovers, even ideologies. When clung to without discipline, they become leashes around the neck. Men beg for loyalty, but forget this. Loyalty is conditional. It breaks when fear, greed, or survival demand it. The moment it benefits someone to betray you, they will. That is not cynicism. That is reality. Machiavelli warned rulers, never rely fully on love or loyalty. Fear endures, affection does not. Dark psychology adds this. Human beings are wired to act in self-interest, even if they hide it under masks of morality. And if you are blind to this, if you cling emotionally to people who would abandon you when it suits them, you set yourself up for destruction. Cold detachment is not about becoming lifeless. It is about becoming sovereign, to care without being enslaved, to love without being blinded, to walk away when the fortress demands it. The weak man cannot detach. He obsesses over relationships, needing constant validation. He clings to the opinions of others, desperate to be liked. He invests his energy into loyalty that is never returned. And when betrayal arrives, he crumbles. His fortress collapses because it was built on sand, not stone. The untouchable man is different. He feels, but he is not ruled by feeling. He cares, but he is not owned by care. He does not beg for attention. He does not chase those who leave. He does not fear solitude. Instead, he thrives in it. Solitude becomes his training ground. His clarity sharpens in silence. His fortress strengthens when the crowd is gone. This is why detachment is feared. A man who cannot be manipulated by guilt, seduction, or flattery terrifies the world. They cannot pull him by emotional strings because he has cut them himself. That man is dangerous. That man is free. Consider this. When you are emotionally dependent, you are predictable, and predictable men are easy to control. But when you detach, you become unreadable. Your choices are your own. You are no longer trapped in the cycles of anger, jealousy, or desperation. You step outside the game others play, and in doing so, you control it. Cold detachment is not cruelty. It is power. The ability to stand unshaken when others panic. The discipline to walk away when something no longer serves your path. The strength to let go of what weakens you, even if it once gave you comfort. Ask yourself, how many times have you been drained because you held on to people who didn't deserve you? How many battles have you fought for those who would never fight for you? How many years have you wasted clinging to illusions of loyalty? That ends now. To be untouchable, you must value your mission above all else. The fortress must come first. Attachments that weaken the fortress must be cut away, no matter how deep the blade must go. This is ruthless, But ruthlessness is survival. The world respects men who can walk away, men who remain calm when insulted, unmoved when abandoned, unshaken when betrayed. That composure is a weapon. That distance is your armor. And when you embody it fully, people will feel it. They will sense it. They will know you cannot be touched. This is the essence of cold detachment, caring on your terms, never theirs. Walking your path with clarity, never begging to be carried. Let them come and go. The fortress stands. Now, comment below. I walk away without fear. Write it. Claim it. Make it your weapon. 9. The art of silence and secrets. Words are weapons. But like all weapons, the more you swing them, the duller they become. Weak men talk too much. They reveal themselves in their hunger for validation. They broadcast their plans, their emotions, their ambitions, hoping someone will care, hoping someone will approve. And in that constant noise, they lose their power. Understand this. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strategy. It is the pause before the strike. It is the hidden chamber in the fortress that no one can infiltrate. Machiavelli taught that secrecy preserves power because once your enemies know your intentions, they can prepare for them. But if you are silent, they stumble in darkness, fearing moves you haven't even made. Dark psychology confirms what Machiavelli knew. Humans cannot endure uncertainty. When you say nothing, they start imagining everything. And what they imagine is always more dangerous than the truth. Silence turns their own mind into a prison. You don't need to threaten them. They will terrify themselves with possibilities. Secrets are your second weapon, not just what you keep from others, but what you allow them to believe. A strategist does not always hide. Sometimes he plants deliberate fragments, misleading trails, whispers of half-truths. People will run with the bait, thinking they have uncovered your plan, while in reality, they are walking exactly where you lead them. This is the paradox of power. The less people know about you, the more they think you control. The mysterious man is larger than life. His silence becomes legend. His aura expands because people cannot measure him. And what cannot be measured cannot be challenged. Think of it this way. When you reveal your weaknesses, you give enemies weapons. When you expose your desires, you hand manipulators the keys. But when you guard your thoughts like a vault, no one can touch you. They guess, they speculate, they plot, but they never strike cleanly because they never truly know where to hit. The art of silence also applies to conflict. The loud man announces his anger, his revenge, his intentions. He warns his enemies with noise. The silent man plans in shadows and strikes without warning. His silence multiplies the impact of his action. People remember a calm predator far longer than a barking dog. And let this truth sear into your mind. The more you speak, the more you are owned. Every word can be twisted, recorded, remembered, or used against you. Silence denies your enemies ammunition. Secrets deny them maps. Together, they render you untouchable. But do not confuse silence with weakness. Silence is not retreat. It is dominance. You choose when to speak, how to speak, and to whom. And when you do, your words carry weight. Because they are rare, scarcity creates value. If every word you utter feels intentional, people will treat them as law. Secrecy also extends to your victories. Celebrate in private. Move in shadows. Never give people the full picture of your rise. Envy sharpens daggers. Why expose your throne before it is unshakable? Let them underestimate you until it's too late. By the time they realize your strength, you are already untouchable. This is how kings endure. This is how empires are built. Not by shouting every move, but by cloaking every move until it is irreversible. A fortress is strong not because its walls are seen, but because its foundation is hidden. Your silence and secrets form that foundation. Ask yourself, are you too loud? Are you bleeding power through words you didn't need to speak? Are you giving away your strategy to those who will use it against you? If so, stop now. Seal the leaks. Guard your voice. Guard your mind. Let mystery be your shield. Become unreadable. Become unpredictable. Speak only when necessary. Reveal only when useful. Share only when it strengthens your image. The rest belongs to silence. Now comment below, "My silence is my power." Declare it. Make it your oath. Because the man of silence and secrets is the man who cannot be touched. 10. The untouchable fortress. You've walked through perception. You've faced fear. You've mastered emotion. You've studied manipulation, cultivated aura, sharpened strategy, embraced detachment, and learned silence. Now comes the final step. The unification of it all. The construction of the untouchable fortress. Understand this. The fortress is not stone, not steel, not walls of brick. It is the mind. It is the disciplined, calculated, ruthless psychology you build within yourself every single day. Machiavelli spoke to rulers of nations, but his wisdom applies to you, because you are your own kingdom. And if you do not rule it with clarity and power, others will invade it, occupy it, and drain it until nothing remains. The untouchable fortress is built on principles. First, sovereignty of mind. No thought enters without scrutiny. No opinion of others outweighs your own judgment. You are the ruler of your inner court, unmoved by flattery, untouchable by insult. Second, emotional control. Storms rage outside, but within, silence reigns. Betrayals strike, insults fly, temptations whisper, but you remain steady. The fortress is not shaken by the wind. Third, mastery of perception. You decide what others see and what they will never see. The aura you project is deliberate, engineered, controlled. No leakages, no weakness. Every glance, every word, every silence becomes a brick in your wall of dominance. Fourth, ruthless strategy. You play the long game, no wasted moves. Every step serves the throne you are building. Every ally, every enemy, every sacrifice serves the empire of yourself. Fifth, detachment. You walk away without hesitation. You cut chains that weaken you. You do not beg, you do not chase, you do not cling. The fortress does not move for anyone. It stands eternal. Sixth, silence and secrecy. Your enemies guess, your allies assume, the crowd speculates, but no one ever knows. Mystery becomes your moat. Secrecy becomes your gate. Silence becomes your armor. When these principles are forged together, you become the fortress. Untouchable, indestructible. Men around you will wonder how you never break, how you never fold, how you never lose ground. The answer is simple. You built walls inside that no one can breach. But here is the ultimate truth. This fortress is not built once. It is built daily, with discipline, with vigilance. Every morning you sharpen it. Every night you reinforce it. You educate yourself. You evolve. You grow colder, sharper, more precise. The man who stops building is the man who begins to crumble. This is why most will never achieve it. They want shortcuts, they want comfort, they want applause. And so, they remain exposed, naked, weak, breakable. You will not be one of them. You are building something greater. You are building yourself into a fortress that will outlast storms, betrayals, failures, enemies. And when you achieve it, when your aura radiates strength, when your silence commands fear, when your strategy dismantles opposition without effort, you will know what it means to be truly untouchable. This is your path. This is your weapon. This is your destiny. Now I want you to comment below one last time. I am the untouchable fortress. Make it your final declaration. Burn it into your soul. And if these words strike you, if you feel the fire of this transformation beginning, then do not stay silent. Strengthen this brotherhood. Like this video, subscribe to Mental Fort, and turn on notifications. Because the world won't wait for you to rise, but I will keep sharpening you until you cannot fall. Remember, you are not here to be average. You are here to be a fortress, untouchable, eternal.